Homelessness is an ongoing issue for young people in the UK. Broxtowe Youth Homelessness, known as BYH, has a range of young volunteers who have experienced or going through some sort of homelessness. We work with hostels all around Nottingham and Derby in order to recruit new young people. They have to go through a 3-week training programme which will build up confidence, self-esteem.
Here are some of the stereotypes we face as young homeless people.
Tramp, druggie, hobo, prostitute, alky, dirty, smelly, pleb, butters, lazy, criminal, lowlife, scum, scroungers, beards, beggars, dogs, skets, smackheads, scruffy.
Let me explain more about the opportunities Broxtowe Youth Homelessness offer to young people. Young people that have had an experience of homelessness can attend a course with BYH over a 3-week period and achieve a Level 2 award. The staff help and support you with achieving the skills to be able to go into schools and talk in front of students in a classroom about our own story of how we were affected by homelessness. Going into schools has a really positive impact on students. We raise awareness, challenge stereotypes, and do group work with different case studies. We give the class lots of advice and information about the realities of living independently and to prepare if they ever find themselves in a situation like ours. Here are some of our peers telling you what they have gained from training and volunteering with BYH.
Hi, I'm Lewis and I experienced homelessness from the ages of 19 to 21 through living in a hostel for 2 years, making me technically homeless. My story is that I started off as a really shy kid and experienced a lot of depression and anxiety like the rest of my family, and we moved house a lot, and I ended up not being able to go back to school due to crippling social anxiety, just like my brother who is still agoraphobic. So I suffered from agoraphobia and couldn't leave the house for about 7 years. After that point I had a mental breakdown and was becoming violent, which is not like me, and broke windows and was aggressive with my dad, and I was taken to a psychiatric hospital and sectioned for 3 days. After that point I became voluntary and stayed for 3 months. Hospital said that I shouldn't go back home because I would just stay the same that way, so they sorted me out with a hostel place, and very luckily for me I got a very good one called the Canaan Trust, and I was there for 2 years and it really turned my life around. Although I've heard most hostels are far worse, honestly, but it's a useful form of support for people in situations like mine or any of the various situations that homeless people go through. So I've done a lot of voluntary work through charity shops and through Broxtowe Youth Homelessness, of course, and I've ended up with a flat, and I've been there for 2 years and I'm doing better than ever.
Hi, I'm Abby and I'm 19 years of age. From birth, I've lived with a variety of different family members because my mum was unable to look after me due to her drug addiction, and my father suffers from lots of mental health problems, so therefore he couldn't look after us either. In year 9, I moved to Lancashire from Nottingham to live with my nan. My sister came, but we was abused by another family member and I had to move. My older sister stayed with my nan as she was the favourite, and my nan thought I was going to be similar to my mum, taking drugs and getting pregnant young, etc. I had no choice but to return to my mum in Nottingham, who had no stable accommodation for me, was still addicted to drugs and could not look after me or keep me safe. When she'd had an argument one night with my grandfather, he kicked us both out and we had no choice but to stay in 24-hour Tesco toilets and hide there from cleaning staff and other members of Tesco staff. After this, after school found out that my mum was very abusive and was still on drugs, I lived in foster care for 1 year, and then I got arrested for getting into fights, and then I moved to another foster care placement for 2 years, which I lived there happily while I completed my education before moving into a hostel when I was 17. If I'd had a peer impact session when I was in school, I probably wouldn't have had the traumatic moves that I had to.
Yeah, it definitely did, because my first perspective of homeless people was dirty, whereas when I met my person, she was very helpful with telling us what we wanted to know, and not everyone is the same when they are homeless.
Yeah, because most of the time I just assumed that homeless people were like male, with like beards, smelly, like old dirty clothes, but it's not the case.
The stories were very helpful, as it shows me a real situation about how someone has gone through and now what they're like today, whereas just seeing a video doesn't really help me, whereas seeing someone in person is much better.
It's quite sad, and it's like things that you hear about on TV, but you never know it can happen to people quite close around you. But it was good to see how she changed and how she got better for herself after getting help.
I really liked that the person was allowed to come and speak to us individually, so we could ask any questions that we wanted to.
It was quite eye-opening to what homelessness really is, and if you ever did get in that situation, it helps you to know what to do and feel stronger about it, because before I wouldn't have really known what to do.
Yes, most definitely. I think it was really useful for them to see real life homeless people and understand that, you know, it's quite often out of their hands as to where the life their direction takes, and I think that was really useful for them to see that for real. They were excellent. They were by far the most insightful and interesting, and it must have taken a lot for them to speak from the heart, and that really engaged the kids, and that was brilliant. You made it very real. There was no ducking and diving over issues. I think it was very honest, very open, and I think that every student would have walked out of that room knowing something a little bit more than they did before they walked in.
When I first started my peer impact doing the level 2 qualification, I met so many different people who helped me emotionally and financially, e.g. giving me food packages and toiletry parcels when I was struggling. The street home sessions that I attended, where I go into schools and challenge the stereotypes of homelessness for people that are younger than me, I really enjoy. I've done probably over 20 of them sessions now, and changing the views of younger children and potentially stopping them from becoming into the same situation as me is very fulfilling.
Broxtowe Youth Homelessness have provided me with food and toiletry parcels. The food parcels equip you to be able to make meals for at least a week. The toiletry parcels are made up with items appropriate for male and female, with sanitary products and shaving products. Broxtowe Youth Homelessness provide home starter packs, which I've received, and they're for young people who have experienced homelessness and are moving into accommodation for the first time, containing things such as a kettle, toaster, pots and pans, cutlery and utensils. These are only available to 16 to 25-year-olds. Broxtowe Youth Homelessness provided me with a home starter pack, which made me able to make my first meals and provide for myself when I first moved into accommodation. Without Broxtowe Youth Homelessness, I'm not sure where I'd be now.
I Our magazine On Your Feet is put together by our peers. We have some of our peers' stories and where they are now, information about the causes of homelessness, celebrities who have been homeless, and a quiz page. Our peers do interviews and visits relevant to homelessness. On our website we have a full list of other organisations that can help young people. Also, when I did my article on our magazine, I really enjoyed it and it was just amazing.
The BYH Drop-In Centre is a friendly place to come. It's for the age of 16 to 25 year olds who have been through homelessness or at the risk of going through homelessness. With the Drop-In Centre, it's for support and guidance, obviously to support you from what you're going through. Everyone comes here, the volunteers, Broxtowe Youth Homelessness. It's basically for them to get in contact with other people, to see their advice. Coming in for the Drop-In Centre is basically to speak to other volunteers, basically have a little chit chat, talk about all your problems and obviously everything like that, socialise.
Working with Broxtowe Youth Homelessness has helped me gain the confidence to enter paid employment. It's also further educated me on the realities of homelessness after my personal experiences and all the different causes. Before volunteering with BYH, I was extremely shy, and BYH helped me out of my shell and do a lot of public speaking. The staff understand the range of issues that cause homelessness and have helped me with the issues that cause my mental breakdown. I'm passionate about helping pupils in schools also understand these issues.
I got in contact with BYH after safe surfing for a couple of weeks. I started training as a peer educator where I met other young people in similar situations. The staff at BYH have become my support system and I have made strong friendships. I had low self-confidence and had dreams and aspirations which I could not put into place. After encouragement from the staff, I have worked towards and been accepted into universities after putting it on hold for 2 years. I am now excited for my future and things are looking up.
From start off, I was at rock bottom, guys, thought, oh my god, I really want to get involved. I was a volunteer for 5 years and I ended up getting a job for 6 months, but then ended up getting another 6 months. It's a confident boost.
From BYH I got a level 2. I made a good group of friends. I got accepted for who I am. I felt good to explain my story. BYH helped me my confidence. They made me view my life differently. I don't see homeless as being a tramp. I've been homeless and I want to tell young people my story and help them the best I can. People should not be scared. There is so much support offered out there. Don't be afraid, you're not alone. BYH believed in me. They made me then believe in myself in the tough times in my life, and guess what, it worked and I did succeed. I've also had some fab donations to help me with my flat and unborn child. They done a parent course in honour of myself, which I made 2 great friends from who are also mums. The course made me see and understand a child's needs a bit more. I want to thank BYH for the support. I am very happy to be a part of the BYH family, and don't ever forget me, you won't get rid of me now.